Howdy cowboys and cowgirls, I'm Cowboy Jack, and today I'm really excited. You know, the weather is amazing. It's fall outside. It's like perfect time for a fall festival. There's a lot of those going on here in Texas, but today I'm here in a pumpkin patch in Tomball, Texas. This isn't your normal pumpkin patch. These are pumpkins made out of glass. And I'm really excited to show you guys all about this because we're at Glass Blowing Houston, which is actually the only open access glass blowing studio in all of Houston, in all of Harris County, all over this part of the state. These guys will teach classes and show you everything that goes on with glass blowing and how you make these amazing creations. This is actually made out of glass. Isn't that incredible? That is so cool. And we're making pumpkins because it's fall. I just love pumpkins, and here at their glass pumpkin patch you can look around and see all kinds of different colors and creations, because here at Glass Blowing Houston you use your creativity to make all these really cool things. Look how intricate the stem of this pumpkin is. Isn't that just crazy? I could look at this all day because not only is it swirled around, and that's really unique, but it also has these little lines all over it. That is so cool, and I love the blue colors. Normally we see pumpkins that look like this, that are just orange with a green stem, right? And sometimes pumpkins are yellow and different. Some of them have little dots all over them. This one's really cool, especially because it's made out of glass. Let's go on inside the showroom and see all the things they have going on. Boy, we are just surrounded with all these really cool things and fall colors. There's a whole group of purple pumpkins down here. Look at those. Wow. Well, let's get in here in the studio. This is where they showcase some of their amazing artwork that they've made here over the years. Wow, look at this. That is absolutely incredible. Look at all those skinny lines. It almost looks like fishing string, but it's actually glass. Here we've got all these really cool creations. You have to be really careful in here because since everything is glass, it's also breakable. But look at these beautiful statues. That is so incredible. And here we have a bunch of really unique vases. Well, hey, they actually invited us to come out in the shop and take a look around. Would you guys want to see what it's like to make a pumpkin out of glass? Come on, let's go. Wow, I see a ton of really big equipment. There's even more pumpkins out here. Oh, hey cowboys and cowgirls, here's my buddy Patrick. Hey Patrick.
Hey, nice to see you.
Hey, well so what, this is your studio. This is where you do your art, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is so incredible. Thank you so much for having us.
No problem, happy to have you out here.
So could you teach me a thing or two about glass blowing and what that means?
Sure, let's go on and get to it.
All right. Wow, everybody around me is doing amazing things.
Yeah. So you can see they're making pumpkins right here, and we're about to make a pumpkin here ourselves.
Wow.
So we've got a couple of colors laid out. We're gonna make a little Southwest style pumpkin.
I love it.
The blue and a green, blue and a yellow with a green stem. And so we're gonna get started here pretty quick.
Now what is this stuff?
So this is glass. It has a little bit of metal oxide added to it to color it. Just like your gems and minerals found in nature, the same metal oxides are coloring the glass here.
Is it safe to touch?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Wow. Guys, look at this blue glass right here. So this is actually going to give our creation its color.
Yeah,
That is so cool. Wow, I better get this glass off of my hand. Now, normally you wouldn't want to pick up broken glass. And everything we do in here, there's a lot of really hot things, some sharp things. So you would never want to do this without an adult. But it's really cool, especially if you have an expert in the field teaching you what to do.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll stop talking if you want to tell us what we're doing.
Yeah, so we're going to start by going and grabbing a blowpipe real quick, and then we'll preheat that and start making our object.
Wow, cowboys and cowgirls, take a look at that. Now that's just like a little heater or like an oven?
So we like to preheat the metal pipes that we use. Glass really likes to stick to hot surfaces, and so that's why it ends up sticking to our metal pipe, but not to our tools or our tabletop as we use them.
Very cool, okay. Well, I better watch out, that thing sure does look hot.
Oh yeah, it is. So we're gonna head over here to our reheat oven. And this is just a big oven
Guys, look at that. That looks like lava in there. That's incredible.
And inside there is burning about 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my goodness,
So if
that
you
is
were-
really hot.
If you were at home making a pizza, right, 400 degrees or so, this is about 5 times hotter than the oven at home.
I think that would burn our pizza in no time flat.
Oh, yeah. So a couple seconds in here and the end of the pipe's gonna start to glow. As soon as it does, we know we're hot enough, about 1,000 degrees, to go in and take our first little gather of glass.
That is so cool. Boy, I'm standing a good ways away from that. Oh wow, I can
So
see
you can
that
see.
it's glowing.
Yeah. So in here is where we store all of our clear glass. When it's full, it holds about 300 pounds, and that's kept at about 2,000 degrees. This keeps the glass more or less just like honey, so we can reach in, grab up a little, and let the excess sort of trail away inside.
Wow, y'all get a good look at that, but make sure you don't get too close. It's awfully hot.
So a couple turns when I'm down into the level of glass, and you can see I'm wearing sunglasses so that I can see inside there.
Wow,
And we
guys,
close it
look
up.
at that. So that's clear glass?
Yeah, that's clear. Now it looks orange, but that's just because it's really hot. And you can see if I don't turn, it wants to fall down and fall off the end of the pipe. So it is molten glass. We're gonna take this over here and we'll just cool down our pipe. We want to be able to grab up as high as we can, as close to that glass as we can.
Wow, so you're using water to cool down the pipe.
Yeah.
And this stuff is so hot that it's actually still glowing and the end of the pipe is still glowing.
Oh yeah. So we take this over and now we're going to bring this over to our tabletop and we're going to use that metal tabletop to start to shape this up.
Wow.
So a firm press over the tabletop and we'll shape this up into a nice tapered or maybe like a torpedo shape.
That is so cool. He's just rolling it on the table and it made it into that torpedo.
One puff and a cap and we can trap air inside. We let that air heat up and expand, and as it does, it pushes out that bubble on the end of the pipe.
That was so cool.
Now, Cowboy Jack, if you want to come on over and take a seat right here, I'm going to
Okay.
hand this pipe over to you.
All right.
So you can grab anywhere back here behind my hand.
Okay.
And we're just going to slowly turn back and forth to keep the glass on center. Now the glass is still hot, it's still molten on the other side of that, right? So we've got to keep it on center with a slow, steady turn.
Okay.
This takes advantage of centripetal force to allow gravity to pull this into the center and keep it in line with the pipe.
Wow, so is this a good rolling speed?
Yeah, you're doing great right there.
That
Now
is-
what we're waiting for here is we want this glass to sort of cool down and get back to about 1,000 degrees so we can go in, gather some more on the outside of it, and really get to the size we need to make our pumpkin.
So that's right there, right by my, literally right there. It's already 1,000 degrees.
Yeah, so if you put your hand over it, you'll feel just like an oven, right?
Oh my
It's still
goodness.
hot. You'll hear, if I come over here, it's already hard on the outside, right?
That
so it's
is
turned into the glass
so
that we know every
cool.
day.
I mean, it's flowing like a liquid, but just like you tapped on it. I mean, it is
Yeah.
already solid.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like stuck in an in-between state.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
So-
really cool.
We'll go in, we'll gather more glass on the outside of this.
Okay.
We'll bring this back out and we'll start adding our color onto the outside. Now I'm gonna have you add the color. So
Okay.
as we come over here, we'll just stick it into our pile of blue and we're gonna pat down, pick it up, small turn, and then pat down again. And we'll kind of do that over and over as we kind of turn the object around until we get the whole thing covered up in color.
Guys, I am so excited about this. This is incredible. I've never done anything like this before.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, there's nothing else quite like it. So we're gonna head them in and take our next little gather here. Woo. So back into the same depth we were before. We'll come out and we'll let any of the excess that we don't need sort of trail off. You can see it's hot enough that it just
Wow.
pours right off the end there.
That went into a bucket of water and it instantly started boiling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so now you need to cool that rod down again.
Yeah, so every time we have to go back in that furnace, we have to cool down that rod.
Wow, and look, it's steaming because it's automatically turning that water into steam. It's just so hot.
Once we've cooled down enough, I'm gonna have you come over here, Cowboy Jack, and I'm gonna hand the pipe over to you.
Okay.
So you'll grab behind my front hand, behind my back hand.
All right.
Perfect, we'll keep our hands turning nice and slow. And we'll walk over here to our colored pile, right? I'm gonna have you
Guys,
stick.
come get a good look at this. So I'm just gonna smash it down in there?
Yeah, squish, and then small turn, squish again, and I'm gonna let you go with it.
Okay.
So you wanna make it all the way around the whole side, right? We'll do maybe one more full rotation in there.
Okay.
And then once you feel like you've got all the sides covered up, we're gonna get the nose or the tip of it covered up by squishing that part too. So you'll just pick up your back hand, your right hand a little bit, and that nose will start to get covered up in the glass as well.
Oh, okay.
Once you feel like you've got it all covered up, we're gonna head back over and we'll melt all these little glass chips into the outside.
How do you think it looks? Keep going, or
yeah,
are
it
we
looks
good?
pretty good.
I
Let's
think
head
that
back
looks
over.
so cool. I mean, I see all those crystals all around the outside. All right, what do we do next?
So we're gonna head back in and melt all this in.
Okay.
I'll have you come over and set down on this little stand right here.
All right.
We're gonna slide right into inside the hole. And then I want you to turn nice and even as we wait for all those little chips to start to glow orange, kind of sink in, expand, and eventually smooth out. Now, once they all smooth out, we'll bring this back over. We'll add one more layer of that color, having it stick just like glue, and then we can start going on to our next step.
This is so exciting. Boy, it is really hot here. Too hot for a cowboy. And I know we're in Tomball, Texas today, where the summer gets pretty hot, but this Texas heat has nothing on that.
Oh yeah. So it is totally another thing up here. You know, there's points where you can see that we have doors on the outside of this. Sometimes when we're making objects and they're very big, we have to open those doors up, and it can be, you know, as hot as like a jet engine out here.
Wow.
So you can feel it's really starting to move, right? Everything's smoothed out over the outside. We're gonna come out and we're going to add our second layer on there. So you can reach all the way up to my finger up here.
Okay.
We're gonna keep your hands turning nice and slow.
All right.
And we're just gonna head back over and get our second layer of color here.
Wow, this is so cool. Back in the blue again?
Yeah, back in the blue.
All right. This is such a unique experience. This
And you
is-
can feel, you know, that glass is still really hot and molten, right?
Sure
it's
is.
pushing under the weight of it. You know, it's forming into that shape. Once we get this all covered up, we'll come back over. We're gonna melt all these chips in, and then we'll start to add our accent color, our yellow or orange, on the outside.
Okay. How does it look?
Pretty good.
All right.
So we'll head back over and we're gonna melt this back in.
All right, how's that?
Yeah. We'll just slide into just inside the hole, and then we'll start melting that all in again. Now, once this forms into a nice smooth layer on the outside, I'm gonna have you come back over and sit back at the bench, and we're gonna use a wooden block to start shaping this up.
Okay.
Now that wooden block acts as a mold, and we're just going to spin the glass really, really fast until it swells to the size of the mold using centrifugal force this time.
Okay.
And that will allow us to get a nice symmetrical shape that'll be easy to maintain and really easy to blow up.
It's so cool.
So you can feel it starting to move a little bit now. You
It
can feel
is.
those colors smoothing out over the outside.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead and have you head back over to the bench.
Okay.
You'll take a seat and grab the wooden block out of the bucket of water behind you.
Wooden block.
Yep, that one right there. Oh, perfect. And then you'll just have a seat right there at the bench.
All right, I can do that. I'm good at sitting on benches. I have a lot of experience.
So you can see we're very hot, right? I'm gonna have you scoot all the way over to the side,
Okay.
and then we're gonna cup the glass using that block.
Look
You
at
can see
that.
a very quick turn right there.
And I see sparks. What's creating the sparks?
So that's a little bit of the wood burning. Sometimes if it's not quite wet enough, you'll see a couple of sparks. We're gonna let that block go now. Go ahead and drop it away. You can put it back into the bucket behind you. We give it one puff and a cap,
What's that?
watching for that bubble to expand on the inside. You can see it's pushing against the wall there.
Oh my goodness, it's taking on like a light bulb shape now.
Yeah. And so we're gonna stop it there. We're gonna let this cool down just a little bit as we wait for Marta to have our second bit of glass ready. So from here, we're gonna add a little bit of an accent. So we call this sort of a crazy wrap. So we're gonna attach a second bit of glass, and we're just gonna string it all over the outside. So give it sort of a random color all over, and then we can go ahead and stuff this into our mold to make our pumpkin.
This is so cool. Wow, guys, and if you look close, you can really see that color caked on there. Don't get too close, it's really hot.
So she's gonna heat that second bit of glass up. And when we come back over here, I'm gonna sit down right here. I'm gonna grab this tool called a diamond shear, and then I'm gonna use this to grab onto the hot pipe. I'm gonna attach the new bit of glass up here at the top where we won't see the connection point. And then I'm gonna kind of just string it all around this piece of glass.
That is so awesome.
Now, as we get this hot piece of glass, we get about 20 or 30 seconds to work with it. So it's gotta all happen pretty quickly.
Pretty fast, okay.
Yeah.
This is just so exciting. I mean, I've never done anything like this in my entire life. And even though that's been out of the oven for a long time, you can see that pipe is still glowing red.
Oh, yeah. You know, right now this glass is probably still about 12 or 1300 degrees.
Whew.
Now, it's not hot enough that it's molten. That would be melting glass at about 1400 degrees.
Okay.
So we're below the temperature where it turns into a liquid, but it is still hot enough to kind of move around like sludge.
Boy, working with glass, you have to have a very well-rounded knowledge of a lot of things. You have to be kind of a chemist, kind of a scientist, definitely an artist. I mean, this is so cool.
So from here, Marta's gonna bring this over from the back side, and we're gonna attach the two of these pieces together. So I grab onto that hot pipe, I'm gonna attach onto the glass over here, and I'm just gonna kind of wrap that all around.
That is amazing. It's going on there just kind of like chocolate syrup on ice cream. Wow.
And so now we've got our nice little coating, our accent color here. So I'm gonna have you come up and we're gonna melt this all in and get it ready to stuff into our mold.
All right.
Now to get our pumpkin shape, we're gonna use this mold right here at my feet. It's got like a 12-point star on there.
Okay.
This allows us to get ribs and ridges on the pumpkin to make that nice, you know, traditional pumpkin shape. Now you can feel as it heats up now, it's gonna start to move a lot more.
I noticed that. You know, last summer when we were filming with tow trucks, we were out in the direct sunlight, and I was wearing my vest because I always wear my vest. I felt like it was really hot outside. It had nothing on this.
Yeah, you definitely, I would say the furnace, like gathering the glass out of there, I'm gonna grab this from you, is probably the hardest. And for most people, it's like 6 months before they're like really used to being up there. You know, it's like a deer in the headlights. You're just like, wow, it's so hot.
Well, I bet you could mow the yard in the middle of the summer around 2 o'clock in the afternoon and not even think twice about it.
Not a problem.
Working with glass has its benefits, right?
Absolutely. So
wow, and it's really starting to smooth out.
Yeah, everything's all melting in now. We're gonna get ready and we're gonna stuff this into our mold here to get our ribs and ridges. Now, before we get into our mold, we're gonna start to taper the heat, meaning that we want the tip of this to be the hottest part because there's the thickest glass, and then the part that's holding onto the pipe to be the coldest because we want to maintain a little bit of control as we run this liquid down into our mold.
Look at this, guys. Wow. Look at that.
So now we've got our ribs and ridges all the way around there. If you'd like to go and have a seat here on this little black bench, Cowboy Jack,
all
I'm
right.
gonna have you blow this up the rest of the way. Can we get a mouthpiece real quick? Yeah. So the key here as we blow is nice and gentle at first. I can always tell you to blow more, just like bubble gum.
Okay.
I can't really tell you to blow less.
Okay.
If you put your hand in 5 inches in front of your face, you blow and you can barely feel, that's a good speed to start. Yeah, so you'll turn around and you're gonna face towards the pipe right here.
Okay.
Mouthpiece to put on. It's been cleaned for you.
All right.
Slide that on.
Well, I've been accused of being full of hot air before.
Well, we'll find out now.
All right, so you
Go
ready?
ahead and,
just a short burst?
No, you're just gonna seal your mouth on the end and just blow nice and gentle.
Whoops. Might need to take my cowboy hat
Oh
off.
yeah. Now you can blow a little harder. A little harder. And stop. Great job.
Wow.
So you can see it's already starting to form into that pumpkin shape, right?
That is so cool.
I'm gonna take this back in. We're gonna give it just a little more heat and we'll finish this all up.
Would you take the mouthpiece
You can grab the mouthpiece. Perfect. There we go. So you can already see, right, we're getting that pumpkin shape going.
Wow, that's a beautiful color.
So we'll head back in. We're gonna get this nice and hot and then finish it up. Now we talked about earlier, sometimes we have to open these doors, right? This is one of those times when we gotta open the door to get in and out.
Wow, you could really see how hot it was in there when you opened that up.
Oh yeah. So we come out, we're gonna angle down just to let gravity start to stretch that just a little bit more. And then I'll have you sit down and blow one more time for us. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead and blow.
Boy, that pumpkin is growing right before our eyes, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And stop.
Woo, getting a little smoky.
Yeah, so from here, we're gonna kind of finish this pumpkin up, cinching the neckline down a little more, placing a flat spot on the bottom. And as we do that, Marcia's gonna heat up a second bit of color that we're gonna add to make our stem.
Okay.
So this will form sort of the body of the pumpkin itself. Cowboy Jack, you're welcome to come up here and turn.
All right.
It is a little hotter up here with that door open. You can feel it.
Sure is. Woo. Now I get why you have these partitions
Oh,
here to
yeah.
kind of hide away from the heat.
Absolutely. A lot of the times we just hide behind those shields and we just don't even look in there. We just
I can see why. Boy, it feels like I just got a hot, fresh shave.
So you can feel it really starting to move now a little bit on you, right? I'm gonna grab this from you. We'll head back over and we're gonna finish this pumpkin up. So you can see if I don't turn, all right, that
Yeah,
pumpkin's
guys, you see
moving.
that? If he doesn't turn it, then the pumpkin will fall to the side. Woo, red hot pumpkin coming through.
So we make our nice little pumpkin shape. We have a spot for it to disconnect from on the top. Then we'll come with the back of our tool here and we're just going to dimple in the very center there so that it sits on a ring instead of a flat surface. This gives it a little more stability. And then from here, we're just going to hang out and wait for our stem. Now there's a couple of different stems we could do. We could do like a short stumpy stem. We could do one that kind of comes up and curls down, or we could do one that kind of curls around this pumpkin. Which one do you want to have?
Well, I like those big swirly ones.
Okay, absolutely.
This is so cool. I just love it. Guys, he gets to do this every day. This is so incredible. I mean, this is an absolutely unique, one-of-a-kind piece of art. I mean, that is absolutely art. It's incredible. There is no shortage of creativity around here, is there?
Yeah. I mean, we get to, like you said, we get to kind of play around all day. It's great. So she's going to plunge down into that last bit. She's going to get a texture onto the stem itself. This gives it sort of a viney texture. And then from here, we're going to grab onto our diamond shear. We're going to bring this over to our knockoff table. And I'm going to set it down right here on this little piece of Kevlar. Now Kevlar burns at about 1300 degrees, so that pumpkin has to be below that temperature in order for that Kevlar not to light on fire. From here, we're gonna stuff this down over that opening that we left, sealing it all up, twisting and pulling, and you'll see that sort of vine texture come out over the top of the stem. From here, she's gonna take a rod and pull the part of that down, wrapping it around that metal rod until we get to the ideal sort of stem, and there we go.
That was absolute magic. You guys are magicians. This is so cool.
From here, she breaks that loose, just taking that last little bit of glass, polishing up any of the sharp edges left over from breaking it away like that, and then we'll take it and put it into our oven.
Wow, that torch is really hot, but see exactly what she was doing. When she cut it, it left kind of a sharp, jagged edge. So she uses that torch to heat it up and smooth those things out.
So this is still about 1,000 right here. If you put your hand over it, you will feel just like a
Oh,
little oven,
wow.
right? So we're gonna pick this up and we're gonna load it into an oven and let it slowly cool down overnight.
Wow, so it still has to bake a while.
Yeah, so this oven over here is sitting about 940 degrees.
Oh,
It'll sit
wow.
at that temperature until the end of the day. About 2 hours after the last piece goes in, we can begin dropping the temperature down. It drops around 50 degrees an hour until it hits room temperature, and that takes basically a whole day for it to kind of finish and cool down the rest of the way.
That is so cool. That's just the coolest way that you could spend an afternoon, is learning all about this. I am so grateful that you were able to teach us all about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, well Patrick, I've had such a fantastic time here today. That was so incredible to learn all about glass blowing, and especially making a pumpkin this time of year. That was really cool.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time.
Yeah,
that was
no
amazing. I hope you'd have me back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Come
can't
back
wait to
anytime.
come back because I want to make some other things, but we've had such an adventure, like these wonderful glass pumpkins that they've made here. Golly, I just can't get over that. It's a masterpiece. It's literally a masterpiece. And you guys make so many of them. You just have them sitting out here on these hay bales. So cowboys and cowgirls, I hope you had a fantastic time with us today. If you did, make sure you click subscribe to Cowboy Jack on YouTube, and that way you can come with us on all of our adventures, because we go on a lot of them. But boy, this one here at Glass Blowing Houston in Tomball, Texas, absolutely blew my mind. We were blowing glass, but whew, I tell you what. Hey, wait a second, are you guys laughing at my hair? Whew, they're always laughing at my hair. Well, hey, Patrick, we always do something at the end of my show, and that's we do the yeehaw. You think you could do the yeehaw with me?
Yeah.
All right, cowboys and cowgirls. Well, until we see you next time, 1, 2, 3. Yeehaw!